Hello, hello, hello everyone. How are you doing? It's a beautiful day on the trails today. A beautiful day on the trails today. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? It's a gorgeous day here on the trails today. A beautiful day on the trails today. Won't you be mine? I thought I'd pause and start this video around 3 minutes 33 seconds. Give you a chance to take in some of the scenery without talking. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it gorgeous? Right here. Do you stop to take in the beauty? Is it just beautiful? As Ian says, don't you see the beauty? Oh, it's so beautiful. But he denies that nature's brutal and that it's something that can be more than abundance. I don't see any food out here. I'm looking for all the food, like the apples and oranges and carrots and bananas and avocados. I don't see all the fruits and vegetables, ripe tomatoes. Where are the tomatoes growing out here? Where are the cucumbers? Where's the cattle, man? Where's the meat? I don't see it. I don't see any fruits. I don't see any vegetables. Some people laugh and say, of course, you're in a forest, Stephen. Forests don't produce fruits and vegetables. There's hardly anything to eat in a forest. Well, that's true. You're starting to learn something then. Or you're starting to admit to some things, perhaps. You're starting to speak a little bit of truth. That's why if you put food out in the forest and you use a trail cam, the animals will come and eat it. You'll see lots of animals coming to feed because they're hungry. That's the obvious explanation. You don't eat when you're full, do you? What about the animals? They eat pounds of food, seeds, pizzas, pumpkins, all kinds of things you could leave out. Trail mix or deer mix, deer feed. Whether it's rabbits or birds or deer or bears or chipmunks, everything will come along and eat what it can. You can leave fruit out for them. You can put bananas out for them. They're hungry. There's a lot hungry out in nature. There's a lot of wildlife that's hungry out in the wilderness. It isn't an abundance in nature. Nature doesn't have and provide an abundance of food for people or for animals. If you took 10 million people out of a city and put them out in the wilderness, there'd be a lot of starvation. Maybe then you'd realize the truth. That's what it takes for some people. They have to learn the hard way. Unfortunately, I don't wish suffering upon them or anyone, but it's the way it is. That's how most people learn, is the hard way. They don't want to observe. They'll only start learning, oh my goodness, he's right, when they're starving out in the wilderness. If they went out there with their bug out bag, if there was some big event which they're looking forward to or hoping for, a lot of these preppers, they'd learn very quickly. There's not much food out here where you really don't go. A lot of them are in the cities all the time. And even the ones that do walk these trails say, well, I could just have a knife and survive. Well, where's your food sources? What are you going to live on? Going to live on these leaves? No. There's nothing nutritious in there. There's no nutrients in those. They're just dead leaves that fell off trees. You can't live on leaves. What are you gonna live on? This stuff? You gonna live on this? What? This is dead. Just breaks off. You gonna live on this? This is green. You gonna eat little green trees? Not sure if the green color is showing up there with that. It's very green. Means it's living. This is living. You're gonna eat these little leaves here? You gonna live on these? How many of these are gonna eat a day? Is this gonna make you sick and give you digestive problems? I'm wondering what you're gonna eat. I'm very practical. I'm wondering what the fuck you're gonna eat here. You gonna eat this? Anything down there? Some people might think, oh, he's being funny. He's trolling us. Obviously, he's hiding the food sources out in the woods, out in the forest. Some of you have lived in cities your whole life. You don't know what you're talking about. You talk about how you'd live off the land. Well, what land? You're going to go out in the wilderness and hide? What are you going to eat? You'd starve to death out here. It's a reality. You'd be digging under this ground here, this dirt, looking for worms to eat is what you'd probably end up doing. And maybe get desperate enough. If you had a pet, you might eat your pets. Or you might start eating your friends. Or strangers that are humans. What would you eat out here? What are you going to do if you're out in the forest? I hope that does trigger some of you. I hope it does get under your skin and upset you a little bit. Provoke you to start thinking a little bit. Because it's not a supermarket out here. The way that so many believe that they can just go out here and grab things off the trees and eat things off the trees. But it doesn't work that way. So what would you do? You'd build a shelter maybe. You'd tie some limbs of trees together. You'd build a little teepee or something. Great. Great. Maybe you'd even be able to build it well enough, if you're lucky or if you're trained, to be waterproof. Then you'd be doing really well, a lot better than most. Most people wouldn't be able to do that. Most people wouldn't be able to build fire out here. In reality, a lot of fallen trees. A lot of people have these magical ideas, magical thinking or fantasy thinking or wishful thinking. I usually call it wishful. Wishful thinking. It's like being out in a bar and you hear these group of guys at the table next to you. There's 4 or 5 guys sitting there. And UFC is on the big screen, one of their big pay-per-view events or something. And there's a fight in the octagon. And these guys are all saying that they could beat up the guy on the screen, right? They're claiming, oh, I could take him or I could take whoever. And you'll encounter that at bars a lot where they'll be saying they could take on these mixed martial artists without any training, but it's not real. It's just them boasting, right? Hey, how's it going? Oh, nice dog, Jack Russell.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Have a good one.
Thank you.
So anyway, those guys are walking some beautiful dogs. So if you're out at the bar and these guys are talking about a mixed martial art event, right? A lot will boast and say, oh yeah, I could beat that guy. Or, I remember in high school, I had a friend that was, in high school, early on, I went to a new school. Look at the size of this big tree. It's a big old tree. That's a big old tree. Look at the bark on this thing, man. Look at that. There's stuff growing on there, but just for comparison, that's a water bottle. That's a good size water bottle. And that is massive bark with deep grooves. It's a huge tree. But in high school, watching like some Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, and I don't know if it was Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal, but watching Van Damme, I think it was Bloodsport, that movie. And the friend I had was a real bullshitter and someone that bragged a lot. He'd be like, oh, I could take him, I could do that kick. It's like, no, you can't. No, you can't. I know that you can't. You couldn't do that. You couldn't beat them up. And it's just so many people that, whether they're watching a movie or some kind of event like that, they'll boast that way, right? It's not even close to being true. But they will boast about saying they could do things that they obviously can't do. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with my walk here, through here. And it ties in back to what I was saying. People will say, oh yeah, I could survive in the wilderness. Somebody mentioned earlier that Little D had said he could survive in the desert just with a knife. If all he had was dropped in the desert with a knife, he'd survive and be okay. It's bullshit, man. How are you going to find water in the middle of the desert with a knife? He'd probably make up something ridiculous, like I dig for it. Really? How would you know there's a water source underground in the desert beneath your feet? It might be 800 feet or 800 meters below you. You gonna dig with a survival knife? Look at these little flowers right here. That's what I mean by bullshitters, man. And this realm is filled with that kind. I would do this, I would do that. They're always saying they would do something, and they don't do anything. In reality, they say they could or they would, and they really don't do anything. They don't know how to do anything. They criticize people like me for drawing and painting and writing poetry and writing essays and publishing things and making videos, and they call it publishing these videos on YouTube. They're public, viewable to anyone. They would, they could, but they don't. That's the thing. So they're full of shit. You're living in a realm with beings that, if they would just shit all over the ground, they could fertilize everything. They're so full of shit. I've said before, some of them, like Bextra Large, if you sent a septic tank pumper truck to her place, she could fill that up. She could lose hundreds of pounds. Just give her an enema and have the tube at least 5 to 10 times the size of a regular one that they'd use on someone at one of those clinics. Shove it inside of her ass, pump her out into a pumper truck, like they pump out a septic tank, and she could lose a massive amount of weight because she's so full of shit. She lies all the time. Same with Callie, except she doesn't look like Bextra Large, but she's still full of shit. So, anyway, that's common in this realm. I'm not just picking on those two people, and that's something that people need to step back and go, wait a second, it's more than two people full of shit in this realm. Jack Talcott's full of shit. Paul the Slave is full of shit. Okay? OTW is full of shit. You can go on and on and on. Channel to channel. Snafu Snaps is full of shit. It's not just one or two, and it's not just the examples that I'm naming of ones on YouTube. I'm sure there's a few people in your life that are like that as well, right? It's pretty common. It's not that hard to find. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Yep. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. It's pretty common to find in this place, right? It's a beautiful sunny day where I'm at right now, though. Right here is gorgeous. A couple of mountain bikers just went by. Let's see here. Just went past 20 minutes. I think I'm going to end this video here. Right around here is a good amount of time for this video. Should I aim it into the sun? All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day today. Mad love and strength to you, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.